everyone, welcome to the video series of the subject Object-Oriented Programming using Java. Myself, Hemali Shah, I am working as an assistant professor in LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video lecture, I am going to cover the topic synchronization and other thread functions that we should use in multi-threading program in this video lecture. And this topic is a part of unit number 5, multi-threading programming. So till now we have done how to create the thread by using the concept of extending thread class and by implementing the runnable interface, right? Now what kind of methods are available that provides the following facilities? Say for the example, is there any way to create main thread objects when you create one process, when you execute your Java program? It basically creates a single thread. That thread is basically called as a main thread. Is there any way to set and get the name and the priority of the thread? Is there any way to set priority, get priority? So when you access such a functions to set the priority, get priority function, which kind of exception will be thrown by your program? That again you have to understand. Now, is there any way to wait some thread for some time of period, or some wait some thread to complete the task of another thread that is given to another thread? Is there any way to provide such a mechanism in your multi-threaded program? See, yes, it is possible by using the methods which are available with the threads. So let's move on the NetBeans and let's understand all the methods. So here this is the NetBeans, right? Now inside the NetBeans, first of all create a new project, file menu, new project, Java category, Java application, and I'm giving the project name as a thread demos, right? I don't want to create a main class, and just press the finish button over here. Press the finish button. So it will create one project. Now inside this source package, create a new Java class, and giving the class name as a thread functions demo, right? Now inside this, I just want to use all the functions which are available with the thread class, right? So here I'm just making the PSVM, then tab, right? So first of all, how to get the object of main thread? So when this program runs, it basically creates a one process, and that process actually creates at least one thread, and that thread is called as a main thread. So how to get this main thread object? So this main thread object you can get by calling the function, this thread class function, thread dot get current thread. Only the function name is current thread. This current thread basically returns the object which thread execute this particular function. So here you will get the return type of this function is basically thread. So you can get this main thread because this main thread basically executes this function, and you will get this object in this empty. Now you can print this empty object like this. Empty, this is the object, that means information of this thread, main thread, you can print by using the object only like this. If you want to get the name of this main thread, and if you want to print the name of this thread, then again you can print the main thread name by calling the function empty dot get name is a function that basically returns the name of the thread. Likewise, you can change the name of the thread also. So for that, you can again invoke this function setName function. For this empty thread, you can set the name like this. Empty dot setName is a function Second, you can change the name of the thread. Say for the example, I want to give the main thread name as a new main thread. I want to give this name new main thread, right? So such that you can change the name of the thread also. Now if you want to print the priority of the thread, then again you can print the priority of the thread like this. Thread priority you can get by calling the function get priority. Get priority is a function, so you can invoke this get priority function like this, and you can print this priority by calling this function, right? So this is called the thread priority. This priority basically used by thread scheduler when the scheduling algorithm works based on the priority based algorithm you are this operating system using to schedule the threads for the CPU allocation. At that time, this priority will be used by operating system, right? So such that you can get priority also. Likewise, you can call the entity dot set priority function also. So the set priority function accept the parameter, integer parameter it accepts. So you just need to pass this integer parameter. Now after setting this all the things, again you can print the value of this main thread like this. You can print this main thread information. So we are changing all the information and then again we are printing. So let's execute this program. For that, just right click and run file. Run your file. See here we are getting the output like this. First of all, when we print the main thread object, that means current thread function returns the main thread object, or the thread which execute this particular function, that will be returned, and we have stored this in an empty object. So see here we are getting thread output of this main thread as a thread is a class name, main is the name of the thread, 5 is a priority of the main thread, and this main is a thread group name, right? Now the name is all we are going to print. The thread name is main. Now priority by default available is a 5. So if you just printing empty, then also you are getting this all the information. So there is no need to call this all the functions. If you are only wants to print this information, you just need to pass the empty or you just need to use the thread name to print the information of this thread, right? Now after changing the name and after changing the priority, see I'm printing this empty object and we are getting this new main thread as a new name. The main is a group name and this 8 is a priority. So in the program we have changed the priority of this main thread. That's why we are getting this thing, right? Now let's move in the program again. So here this is the file. Now say for the example, if you call this set priority function and if you are giving the priority negative as a negative value, what will happen? See here, you will get one runtime exception. That runtime exception is going to show you illegal argument exception. So when you are using this set priority value not between 0 to 10, you will get illegal argument runtime exception, because this priority value must be between the 0 to 10 only. It is acceptable value for this built-in function set priority, right? So when you use the value above the 10 and below the 0, you will get such an exception in your program. So don't use the above value. Say for the example, if I am using 11, then also it generates this exception in your program, right? So don't use this value. The minimum priority is 0 and the maximum priority is 10 here in this thread class. So just you need to use in between 0 to 10 only, right? Now when this main thread is automatically started, now you can call the start function again also, because the function, the advantage of function, we can call the function when we want that particular function for the execution. So here main thread is already started when you execute your program. So when you are going to start this main thread, and thread is already started, at that time it actually generates this runtime exception. See here, this is the runtime exception, and the runtime exception illegal thread state exception. That means if you are creating thread and if you are calling their start function more than one time, at that time you will again get this illegal thread state exception in your program. So don't call start function more than one time for the single thread. If you want to stop your thread, then you can call the function stop like this, right? Stop is a function that you can call. This is the deprecated function. You can call the suspend function also. So this suspend is a again function. These all are the deprecated functions. It is advisable that you should not use this deprecated function, but it is available. You can able to run these programs also. See here, this thread is suspended. You are suspending the main threads. Because of this reason, this program will run infinite time. This thing you can stop by clicking running then cross button. It is showing below after this output window, after completion of this output window, right? So such that you can call this all the functions also. Now let's talk about the sleep function. Say for the example, I am having a for loop and I want to print this value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I want some waiting time between printing of these values. So this intermediate time you can give by calling the this sleep function. I'm just printing the value of this I here like this. Right now I want to print this value with a delay of some time. For that you have to call this thread.sleep function. Thread.sleep. It is a static function, so you can directly call by using the class name only. This sleep function actually accept the millisecond. Say for the example, I want 100 millisecond sleep. So you can call this function with the 100 as a millisecond parameter. Now this function basically generates the checked exception, interrupted exception. So you have to handle this interrupted exception. Either you can mention as a throws list, or you can add this surrounded try catch block, and inside the try catch block you should write your system.out.println error message. Here this is a error, right? And you can print this exception by using this object. So if here this is the compile time exception, so you have to handle, because this otherwise you will not able to compile this code. Now what will happen in this case? If you are not using this sleep, you will directly get this I value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 within a millisecond or nanosecond. You will get your output. But because of the sleepage, you will get this output with some delay. So after printing the value of I equals to 0, it delay for the 100 millisecond time. So let me run this program by taking the shortcut value, right? See here we are getting the output with some delay. Here if I am going to increase this thing, say for the example I am passing 1000 millisecond. So in this case you will get your output with some 1000 millisecond delay, 0, 1, 2, then delay. You can observe this delay. So this is basically a sleep function, uses of sleep function. The thread which executes this sleep function, that thread basically moves into the waiting state for this many millisecond of time, right? So here by default one thread is available, and that thread is basically called as a main thread, right? So and these all are the functions which you can use to set and get the thread priority, and to set and get the thread properties like priorities, names, all the things. And sleep is a function that waits for the number of millisecond time. Now let's move forward in our presentation. So here the next topic is thread synchronization. Now what is the thread synchronization? So first of all, tell me one thing. What will happen if more than one thread accessing some common resource at the same time? Say for the example, one thing is available. We all are doing the online ticket booking for some bus bus seat, for some railway reservation seat. In this case, all the users are doing the booking at the same time. So this ticket is a common resource, but multiple users are accessing this ticket resource at the same time. So your system only allows a single thread to allocate a movie ticket for a single person at the same time. And otherwise, what will happen? For the single seat, more than one person will get the reservation. So this should not be happen when you are using the common resource between the multiple threads at the same time. In this case, how you can handle this thing in your program? So this is basically called as a thread synchronization concept. Now, thread synchronization basically uh, provides the access of a single thread at the same time. The common resource will be accessed by only single thread at the same time. So this is basically called as a mutual exclusion concept. This mutual exclusion concept giving us the surety common resource, shared resource will be executed or used by single thread when they wants to access at the same time, right? So your resource will be used by only single thread at the same time. Now here it basically uses the lock unlock mechanism of semaphore and mutex. So built-in this mutex and semaphore concept will be used by this Java thread concept to provide the synchronization. So here, let me create one application where I must use this thread synchronization concept. So for that, I'm just going to open this NetBeans over here. Now, what I want to do by using this program, here I'm having one single class. This is the class I'm going to create. Say for the example, this class name is bank account demo. Now, in this application, I want to create the three threads T1, T2, T3. All are the transaction threads. T1 deducting 100 rupees from the balance. T2 deducting 200 rupees from the balance, withdraw some money from the balance, and T3 withdraw some money from the balance, and this withdraw amount is 300, and some account is available having the balance I am taking as a 1000 rupees. Now these three threads I am running in my program, and these threads basically withdraw the money from this single common account balance. Current balance is 1000. Now after completion of these three threads, what should be the amount amount in this particular account? What should be the amount? It should be only 400. But if you are not providing the synchronization concept, what will happen? Let's do this program over here. See, what is our goal? Our goal is to this three threads executes withdraw money function, and it basically deducts the amount from this current balance from this account. If three threads executing this account at the same time and deducting this amount, then what will happen? So let's open. First of all, let me create one class that actually represents your account. So here this account is a class. In account, there is a balance integer variable. This integer variable is balance. Balance is an integer variable and having the initial amount is 1000 rupees. Now in this account class, I am having one void withdraw money function, withdraw amount is a function, and in this withdraw amount function I am just passing the amount as a data, right? Now the goal of this function is basically to calculate the new balance and deduct this balance, deduct this amount from the current balance. So here I am taking the new balance equals to balance, current balance minus amount, right? Now after balance minus amount, now after calculating this new balance, I'm just uh, copying this new balance into this balance variable, so that I can access this new balance updated value, right? Now there is some slippage. Say for the example, there is some slippage in between running of this two statement. Here I am having the slippage of some millisecond, 10 millisecond, and then I am doing the copying this new balance into the balance variable. Now, what is the task of the thread that I am defining over here? Class transaction thread. This all other transactions, this thread class basically do the transaction mechanism. That's why I am giving the name as a transaction thread, and I am using the concept of extending thread mechanism. So here this class represents the thread, and here I am just going to override the function void, public void run function I am going to override, and inside the run function I am just doing the transaction. I am just calling the withdraw function of this account class. For that I must have the object of account. So for that I am just creating one class instance variable account AC, right? And I'm just taking the integer balance amount, deduction amount from here. So these two are the variable, and by using this account object, I'm just calling this withdraw function that I have created, and I'm just passing this amount value. So what is the task of this transaction thread? It only calls the withdraw function from the account object with this amount, right? Now here I'm making one constructor to set the value of this account and amount. For that I'm just creating one constructor account and amount. So here you will get the suggestions in this NetBeans. Now after assigning this all the values, I'm only doing the start thread function I am running over here, right? So this start function I am calling from here, and this all the threads will execute this run function and deduct the amount from this account balance. Now inside the public static void main I am creating in bank account demo. Now here I am creating the three thread object. Now all the three thread object needs some common object. Account is a common object, right? New account. This account I am creating as an object AC. Now I am creating two transaction thread object. Transaction thread T1 equals to new transaction thread, and I am using the two parameterized constructor, and first thread actually deducts the amount 100, right? And second thread deducts the amount 200, and third thread deducts the amount 100, right? So this T2 deducts the amount 200, and this T3 deduct the amount 300, right? So I'm just copying quickly these lines and creating three thread objects of the transaction. Now all three are using some common variable. So here these three threads executing at the same time, and all are using some common resource AC. See here in Java, whenever you are using the object of the class, it always passes by reference. So the reference of this account object is used by three threads at the same time for the withdrawing money from this account, right? Now you can print the balance before the transaction and after the transaction like this. S out account balance before. Right? Before 3 transaction, I'm getting the account balance as a account AC dot balance. I can access AC dot balance. Right? AC is the object and I'm just accessing this balance data member of account class. Now after completion of this 3 transaction, I'm just printing this AC dot balance. Now what will happen? What should be the answer? Can you tell me what should be the answer? This answer should be a deduction of 100, 200 and 300 rupees. That's and you should get the 400 rupees as a after balance, right? Now see here what we are getting as output. Let me correct this first. Sleep of okay. I have to add this try catch block. Otherwise, you will not able to do. You will not able to compile this code because this throwing a checked exception, interrupted exception, and I am just printing here as out error. An error I am getting as a EX, right? Now let me compile this code and execute this code. See here what happened over here. Before, after I am getting the same answer. Now let me rerun this program. Again rerun. All are running this all the threads executing or not. How can we check this whether this all the threads working properly or not? So inside this run function or withdraw function, you can print the thread name and all the things like this as out, then thread name, thread which thread is going to run, that you can print by calling the function thread dot current thread, right? So which thread is basically doing this thing, that you can print like this, and you can print the new balance also like this. Say for the example new balance, right? Now let me run. So all the threads are calling this function and all having see this new balance properly. Now what is happening over here? This main thread having a high priority and executes all these tasks. Now here to print this thing, before printing this thing, this main thread have to wait for the completion of this all the threads task, right? So for that you have to call the join function. Join basically what join functions do. This join waits. This main thread waits for the T1 thread for the completion, such that this main thread should wait for the T2 thread to complete its task. Otherwise, what is happening over here? Though you are creating this all the threads is going to start, but your main thread executing this line very quickly so that this T1, T2 and T3 only executes after completion of the main thread task. So here the task of main thread is very less. That's why it completes all the things very quickly. Now here this join again throwing this exception, interrupted exception. So you have to handle it like this in a try case. So I'm just keeping this all the 3 join function inside a single try block like this, right? Let me format this code. Okay, now what will happen over here? Here, first of all, this main thread waits to complete this T1, T2, T3. Now, after completion of this 3 thread withdraw function, this balance will be printed. See here, what we are getting? 700 rupees, right? Now, again, I am rerunning this program. What we are getting? 700. Rerun this, 700. What should be the answer? It should be 400, right? But what we are getting? Again 900. Every time you will get some different answer. What is the reason? So here all the threads are accessing the common resource account, right? Now this account is accessed by all the threads at the same time. That's why you are getting your balance value is a different. So this is basically called the incorrect value, and you are not getting your correct answer. And what you should provide over here, you should provide the mutual exclusion concept when this withdraw function is going to accessed by multiple threads at the same time. Otherwise, this particular program will not generate the proper output. So here this is the concept of synchronization that you should apply in your program when the multiple resources accessed by the multiple threads, right? So for that, this is the way by using which you can provide the thread synchronization. So two ways are available to provide the thread synchronization. First way, method synchronization way. So here you can search the method which may generate the problem when it executes using the multiple threads at the same time, or you can find out the critical section of your code, and you can block that. You can make the block of such a statement that might generate the problem when it executes parallelly. So find out such a block and put a synchronization mechanism in this. So first of all, let's understand this method synchronization concept. So how to provide the first way in your program. So method synchronization, basically you have to just find out the method by which method generates the problem when it executes parallelly by using multiple threads. So this is the method. So at the time of declaring this method, you just need to use the word synchronization. Synchronized is a keyword. Synchronized keyword basically provides the locking and unlocking mechanism. So when this function executes, it only allows a single thread to enter inside the code. Other thread will wait. When one thread completes its whole task, the other thread will start the execution, and other thread can complete the task. So this is called the method synchronization concept. Now let's run this program. Now see here we are getting the every time we will get this output. But here the execution of thread 0, thread 1, that we cannot judge. Here 0 first execute 0 thread, that is your first thread name. This is the by default thread name given by the your operating system to all the threads. And this thread 2 is a third number thread and thread 1 is a second number thread. Now here, see here first 0, then 2 and then 1. See here again the same thing, execution order is same. See when you run this multiple times, it might be happen your thread execution sequence will be different, right? It happens some of the times. It might be possible thread 1 execute first, then thread 2 executes. It might be happen, but you will get the answer correctly, right? So this is the way you can apply the method synchronization concept. So here we are blocking all the methods. So in another way, so here it is another way. The another way to execute this, to provide the synchronization is block synchronization. So what is block synchronization? So instead of blocking the whole method, you just need to find out the statements that may generate the problem when it executes parallelly. So let's provide the method synchronization concept in this block synchronization concept in your program. So here you don't need to use the synchronize keyword over here. You just need to find out this code that may generate the exception or may generate the incorrect value when it executes parallelly. So here this is the code. These 3 lines basically having the problem when it executes parallelly. So make a block of these 3 statements and just use the synchronize keyword at the time of declaring this block, just like the static block declaration. You just need to use the synchronized keyword, and at the time of using the synchronized keyword, you have to specify here because of which object you are getting such a header. So here I am specifying this. This is a keyword. That means current object. On current object, I want to put a lock. right? So this is the way you can provide the block synchronization. Now, what is the advantage of block synchronization? Say for the example, if you have the very large number of statements in this function, so it basically blocks the whole function's lines. Now, in block synchronization, this three line having a problem, then you can uh, only block this three lines. Now what will happen? The synchronize basically execute this three lines serially, and all other lines you can execute parallelly. So your program will execute quickly compared to blocking a whole program, blocking a whole function, right? So such a way you can provide this mechanism. If you want to execute this block synchronization from this run function, then also you can provide this thing. Because of calling this AC object, we are getting the problem parallel execution because of this AC object. So here you can make this block synchronization concept like this: synchronize keyword, and because of which object, which is the common object between this all the object, this AC is a common object, right? So here you just need to use this AC. So AC object, you are putting a lock on AC object access, so single thread will be access this AC object at the same time. After completion of uses of one thread, another thread will get the chance to access this AC object. So such a way you can provide this block synchronization over here also, or block synchronization over here also, in the function also, right? And you can provide the synchronize keyword over here also. There is no problem, right? So now let me execute this program. Let me correct first. What is the problem? Okay, this new balance. Okay, the declaration I have to move outside. Otherwise, block here I can declare this like this: new balance equals to 0. Then don't declare over here. So you have to make such a changes if there is a syntactical error in your program, right? So here this three line execution will be done serially, and all other execution will be done parallelly. So say for the example, I am running this program. Say here all the thread going to enter and executing, and we are getting our answer finally 400 only. So this is basically called as a synchronization concept, right? So hope you people are clear with the synchronization concept available in Java. So these two are the ways to provide synchronization: method synchronization, block synchronization. Clear all of you what is the use of synchronization? This all the things you have done inside the operating system, but the programming that you have not done, this programming is you can done by using the Java coding, this mutual exclusion programming that you can done by using the synchronized keyword, right? So this synchronize is basically keyword that provides a synchronization mechanism in Java. So I'm going to end this session now. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you all of you.